Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2025. I, of course, am here with your daily mortgage rate update starting the week. Welcome back. Good to have all of you here. Remember, I do this each and every weekday morning, and you are welcome to join me 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time as we talk about what's going on with rates and pricing each and every day and all that good stuff and everything we can be all excited about. If you are here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Let Facebook or YouTube know that you were here. Don't forget to smash the like button, tag a friend, all that good stuff. Sorry about Friday's poor um, show and the quality of the show. You guys were telling me that it was breaking up. I didn't go back and look at it, but it was what it was. But we're back in the office today, and things are good. So, anyway, if you would like a reminder that I'm going live, you don't have to depend on Facebook or YouTube. You can go ahead and get a text alert. We send it out each morning so that you don't miss the show. Go ahead and sign up at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code. If you're on your phone now, you can actually take a screenshot and go ahead and you can go back to your photos and that screenshot will work. That QR code will work, which I always think is very cool. Also, if you would like our daily email, we do send out an email each and every weekday morning. You can go ahead and sign up for that at ratelockadvice.com or use this cool QR code that's over here. Again, that's ratelockadvice.com. Those of you that get the emails, let me know how your deliverability has been. We're messing around with sending between different email domains, trying to transition it over to the Rate Sensei domain. So anyway, you can also sign up for our text alerts. We did have to send out an alert on Friday that there was some reprices coming out. So if you'd like alerts and just a little bit of text support, go ahead and check us out at ratetextalerts.com. So, all right, let's go ahead and say hi to all the live folks here, all of my friends. Who's here this morning? The first one to say good morning was Mr. Rob Stewart. Good morning, sir. Great to have you here. Appreciate you. Randy Teakle, giddy up, my friend. Hope all is well. Angela Walters, good to see you. Jerry Avila, thank you for being here. Ron Siegel, good morning, sir. Ron Siegel says it's National Fajita Day, but as a wine connoisseur, yeah, National Pinot Noir and National Ice Cream Pie Day. So, I'm going with the fajitas. I like a good fajita. I like shrimp, steak, and chicken. Anyone else like fajitas? Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about fajitas. Good morning, Deb Dickinson, Megan Bissell, Mike Brown. Great to have you there. Mike Brown is live and in love. So we appreciate you, Mike. I know it's a typo, but still. Almir Krivdik, good morning. Holly Johnson, Ron, the Home Loan Dude, Mallory Fotiadis, good morning. Tim Klyla, Kelly Hamilton, Faye Escribano, Kenny Rivard. Great to see all of you. Randy Teagle said, back to school, your clan's last first days at mandatory school. I have not had those days in a long, long time. So, congratulations. Middle of August. I'm amazed that y'all go back when it's so hot in Texas, but I guess that, you get out when it's hot too. So, Tom Stafford, good morning. Brandy Brickler, good to see you. Who doesn't like fajitas? I don't even eat them with the flour tortillas. I generally skip the tortilla and just eat the peppers and onions and meats is my thing. So, all right, my friends, well, let's go ahead and get started. We'll jump in and get into the good stuff. Again, thank you for joining me today. Let's go ahead and show you here. Quick recap. I will zoom in. Let me zoom in. Nope, I got to refresh the page. Also, while that's doing that, let me pull up Presentify. All right, so let me move that down. Oh my goodness, come on, man. All right, there we go. Okay, so here we are. Let's pull up Presentify. When pricing came out on Friday, we were right about here, right around 100.13-ish. You could see that we lost ground. Remember, when this goes down, that's bad for rate sheets. We did lose ground on the day. It was more of a drift than anything. I warned you Fridays. In the summer, we see lower trading volumes, and generally, sometimes you could see that happen. Even though it kind of leveled off here, there were quite a few reprices worse. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you got a reprice worse. Let me know in the comments there. But there were quite a few reprices worse, and we did have to send out a text alert. Again, if you would like to be alerted about things like that, check us out at ratetextalerts.com. So as far as today goes, rate sheets slipping a little bit. Let's go ahead and pull up Mortgage News Daily as a reference point. Let me bring this over to the front side of the screen. However, we are seeing rate sheets, 6.58 is higher than 6.56, is higher than 6.53. But check this out. Let's go ahead and go yellow here. 6.58 on Tuesday, the 12th, 6.58 on Monday, 6.58 on the 5th, which was last Tuesday, 6.57s, right below that. So the reality is everything after this line right here, I'm doing purple so you guys can really see it here. Everything, again, what was right here, this was 8-1 was the labor market data. So everything above that had been higher. You could see here we were 6 3/4, 6 7/8. Now we've been down to around 6.5 to 6 5/8. So we're still in a good spot here. Basically flat on the week. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. Bonds are going to be free to drift. There's not a lot going on this week. Let me make this smaller. And let me pull up the economic calendar. We'll take a look at it together real quick. So taking a look here at what we've got going on this week, and let me zoom in on this so you can read it a little bit. Monday today, we've got nothing, right? Housing market index, whatever, nothing. There's nothing here. This home builder housing market index. Tomorrow we've got housing starts, building permits, but those don't do anything for rates. You got Mickey Bowman here, and she's out there spreading the gospel about cutting rates. I still think this is political. Does anyone else agree with me? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all agree with me? Do you think that Bowman and Waller are maybe influenced by trying to, appease Trump and Trump's desire to see the Fed cut rates, and maybe Bowman and Waller are, they're looking to see if they can't get nominated for Fed chair. Do you think that has anything to do with it? I really do, especially with Bowman. She was such a hawk before. I just really have a hard time with it. We got Bostic speaking tomorrow. Again, he won't really make a difference either. You got a 20-year bond auction, not going to matter. Waller will be speaking. Again, these two are, in my mind, are kind of linked. But we got the FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow, which will show that Waller and Bowman had, they didn't vote. They were the ones that voted to cut rates. So I forgot what word I'm looking for here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Thursday, you got a lot of stuff going on. There's some S&P global PMI data going in. We're gonna have jobless claims, which always seems to catch some attention here to have the jobless claims. But none of that really going to be a big deal. What we're really getting to is when you've got Powell speaking in Jackson Hole on Friday, and that's where everybody is going to be paying attention for. So the outlook to me, in my mind, I think that rates would creep up a bit this week. I don't think it'll be terrible, but I think they'll creep up a bit. We're seeing a lot of shifting in the sentiment over whether we're going to get Fed rate cuts or not. Hold on, let me get this lined up for you. All right, hold on. Sorry, y'all. I will get this dialed in and we will continue on. So as I get there, now I got to bring the bottom up. Okay. So, this to me is very telling. This is the September meeting, Fed rate cut probability, CME Fed watch, right? Fed futures. So basically we're up to a 15% chance that we don't see a Fed rate cut at all in September. Let's quick recap. After the jobs data on August 1st, we were all in. It was almost 100% expectation of a Fed rate cut in September. Then it started to grow a little bit where markets were thinking we could see a 0.5 point cut. It was just starting to catch a little bit of momentum on a half a point cut. What happened after that, though, last week with the inflation data, that all disappeared, especially after the wholesale inflation data. Wholesale inflation data came in much, much, much hotter than expected. And that means it's expected to trickle over to the consumer side over the next couple of months. So the expectation of a September cut still out there. Markets are still pricing it in, but now there's some doubt, and you're seeing some doubt right here. If this column goes higher, if after the Powell speech we see doubt increase, you're going to see mortgage rate pricing worsen a little bit. It's not that it's directly related, but yet kind of is. So you're going to see, if this column goes higher, and then this column would, of course, have to come lower. If you see that happen, you're going to see rates that would get slightly worse. If Powell were to signal a very clear signal that we're going to see a rate cut, there's not much room to see this improve. So there's not much room to see pricing improve on that. Because of all of that, I'm more of a let's lock this thing up kind of feeling, right? So I'm still the same thing that I had here, and I'll put this across the bottom. I am all about locking anything under 15 days, most of the stuff under 30, and cautiously floating the rest, right? So in my opinion, hold on, I did not copy this. Control C, there we go. So in my opinion, I am locking anything that's closing. Why is this not pasting? Hold on a minute, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, I know why, because I've got this one. Okay. So I had the thing up in the other screen. Bear with me a minute. I got to do this here. Control copy, cancel, control paste, save. Come on, give me my save. There it is. And we'll throw it on the screen. Okay. So I'm locking anything's closing in August because it's very unlikely that we've got a lot of room to see rates improve much from here. When you look at where we are, I mean, where do you really go from here? 6.58, does it possibly drop back down, a little bit here, 6.53 kind of a thing? Nothing I'm going to get very excited about there. So that's only if. The expectation of what Powell is going to say in Jackson Hole, let's kind of go over that a little bit. So here we go. Powell has reason to hedge Jackson Hole signal as data zigzags. Now, last year at Jackson Hole, Powell was very clear that the Fed was going to start cutting rates, and the Fed cut rates by 0.5 point last September. And when we went into that, there was what was going on put us in a position of seeing rates go ahead and get cut. And if you look at Mortgage News Daily, what did I do that? Oh, Control S, huh? Oh, I have to remember that. Okay. So if you take a look here, and let's get rid of everything that's not the 30-year fixed. Let's bump this down to, here we go. Okay. Little further. All right. So take a look here. We had seen rates peak back in April of 24. And they were, bouncing around, but moving lower over time. And as we got to that September meeting, we were right here at that lowest point. But the expectation was that the Fed was going to cut and keep cutting, and that the economy was slowing down. And when the Trump effect came in, and Trump was expected that he had a shot at winning, and there was expectation of what would happen to the economy, we saw everything pop back up again. So even when the Fed did cut rates, here we go. Here we were, right? I mean, you didn't see rates didn't shoot down. So you're not going to see mortgage rates go shooting down. That's the one thing to really remember here. And I'm looking at your comments here. So Powell, I think we're going to see a lot of speech later this week where he says, that basically, paraphrasing, that the door is open for the Fed to start cutting rates, but they'll still be data dependent. We also, a lot's gonna revolve around that September 5th jobs reading. Does anyone else have a bad feeling about that? I know that in a perfect world, the data and the statistics are not at all influenced or biased. I don't want to say manipulated. That's almost too strong, but I just I have a feeling that that with the new head of the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, I have a feeling that somehow data is going to be interpreted differently as we go into the September meeting. And I think that the ills that were exposed with the last report are going to turn around. I think it's going to be a big rebound report. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just have that feeling. And if it is, it's going to be bad for mortgage rates and pricing. Not a huge bad, but you'll see them go back up a quarter point. So because of all that, that's kind of where I think we're going. So that's still a couple of weeks away. But for now, I don't think Powell is going to make any clear signal. The economy isn't giving him an equally clear signal that now is the time. So I kind of agree with that. Ron says the new head of BLS has not been confirmed yet. So when does that happen, Ron, though? And what happens behind the scenes before he gets confirmed? Is he in the building? I know how the world works. I could be dead wrong because I'm ignorant, but that part of the piece of it, I kind of get my head wrapped around. The Fed chair's annual speech in Jackson Hole, Wyoming can be an opportunity to flag policy shifts. Powell used it for that purpose last year, delivered a big cut soon after. He's under intense pressure from Donald Trump for repeat performance. But let's remember the Fed's mandate is maximize employment and price stability. He doesn't care about what Trump wants. Trouble is the key economic indicators aren't all pointing that way. A couple of weeks ago, the latest jobs report revealed a slump in hiring, and the case for lower rates appeared all but closed. It did. It seemed wonderful. Then came the sharpest spike in U.S. wholesale prices in 3 years, fueled for the concern about tariff-led inflation that's kept officials on hold so far this year. Now, another thing, though, that I wrote in my lock advice this morning is earnings season is over now for the S&P 500 companies, basically, and earnings came in higher than what was forecast down after the tariffs. So companies are making money that they could absorb some of the tariffs. And we'll see how that happens and how much gets passed along to the consumer. That's where all this really matters. Powell last month described the labor market as solid and policy is well positioned. Investors will listen keenly for even a tiny shift on either front, which could open the door to a cut at the Fed's next meeting. And we've already talked about markets believe 85% expectation that we're going to get a cut. So markets are already pricing this in. It's already into mortgage rates. So if markets start to doubt that we will see a cut, and again, that's what I was pointing to when I was drawing on the chart. If we see the doubt of a cut, this column here go up, that's where you're going to see rate sheet pricing kind of take a little bit of a hit. And that'll happen as we get to the end of the week. So there's not a big urgency to lock, but I would be locking. There's just not a lot going on right now. You can see mortgage-backed securities down 4 basis points. Let me make this smaller and let's get rid. I have to refresh it so I can slide it over. Here you go. Okay. Get rid of that. This is so annoying the way that there it is. All right. So let me zoom in on this. And so also take a look at the 10-year treasury, 4.32. I was looking at 4.29 is where I wanted it to stay. 4.29, right about here. I can't get a straight line. There it goes. All right, so 4.29. The fact that it's above that, I don't love that. I think we're going to get back up into the 4.3s, kind of up here, this level. So I think it'll drift. I think mortgage rates are going to drift as well. Ron said there should be another large reduction to the July jobs report, 247,000 job increase in the birth death model. ADP only showed 104. That should portend about 100,000 overstatement of BLS jobs just for that one category. We will see. We will see. So I don't have that same vibe. I don't have that same feeling, but it's just a feeling. So, but that's where I'm at with things. If it were my loans, what I would do. So Otherwise, how was your weekend, y'all? Please tell me in the comments. How was your weekend? What'd you do? I'm working on the barn. Did a couple of other things, but the usual, just enjoying life. Fixing a roof shingle so that my roof doesn't leak until I can get the whole roof re-shingled, the roof replaced, which is what I need. So, Ron, so we can never trust the BLS report. I feel that way. I feel like the data, I just feel like things are the way they're interpreted. Let's put it that way. So, all right, my friends. Well, I'll wrap it up. Thank you again for joining me. It's going to be a pretty quiet week. Hopefully you'll still join me this week, but we'll see where life goes. Do me a favor, trying to grow the show. So invite a friend, invite an originator friend to watch with us, and send them the links. So Thomas, clean the basement. Yeah, cleaning the basement sucks. I'm with you. I don't have a basement anymore, but I used to. So, all right, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic one. I will see you tomorrow.